CQ, calling CQ the Old Friends Net. CQ the Old Friends Net. This is WA4LLR, Dave in Burnsville, North Carolina. Calling CQ the Old Friends Net. This net meets on this frequency 3 times weekly. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 a.m., Sunday evenings at 5 p.m. The net is conducted in the Amplitude Modulation mode and the roundtable format. It's a great place to get information and look for parts that you might be missing, and working mainly towards the restoration of vintage equipment. But any station able to generate an AM signal is welcome to participate. So, CQ the Old Friends Net. Stations wishing to check in, give me a call and come down.
N4LQ. WB4ARK.
KZ4 Bravo.
WB4NKL.
WD4KR.
Alpha Kilo.
Okay, someone doubled with Glenn, N4AK. Who was the other station?
W4KR.
All right, good morning to you, Stan, W4KR. All right, others?
A little high. I'll be back.
Okay, someone's a little high and they'll be back. Let me run down the list of what I have. N4LQ, K4GDN, WB4ARK, KZ4B, WB4NKL, N4AK, W4KR. Okay, who else do we have? Alrighty. Well, Open Station said they'd be back, does indeed return. Once more down the list, LQ, GDN, ARK, 4 Bravo, NKL, AK, and KR. Anyone else?
W4MEC is still on frequency. I'm getting there.
Well, you're close. I'm copying you just fine. W4MEC. Okay, anyone else? Okay, well, good morning to everybody. Looks like we've got about 55 degrees. We've had 2.65 inches of rain, and at the present time it's foggy and cloudy and not raining. So those are the conditions that prevail in the eastern jungles of Yancey County. Running the Johnson 500 and the NC 183 Delta. So let's go ahead and get started with Steve. N4LQ, WA4LLR.
WA4LLR, this is N4LQ. Good morning to everybody. Everybody sounds bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Charlie, I hear you're ART13 there, and you're right on frequency, so it's sounding just as good as ever. Let's see, it's 62 degrees here, still a bit overcast, and we got a couple inches of rain. I don't think we got quite as much as Dave did, but maybe 2.5 inches. And plus the 3 inches that we got a few days before that, so we're doing real good in the rain department. I'm running the 32V3 and 75A4 this morning. I finally received my package that I ordered off eBay. Some guy had a Johnson Viking Mobile, and combined with a Johnson Valiant sideband adapter. Kind of a strange combination. He'd picked them up somewhere, probably a dump or something, but he shipped them here, and it took, well, let's see, 3 weeks to get here, and it bounced around all over the country before it finally arrived. But he threw them in a box with no padding or anything, and the box had been used to house Chinese plastic silverware for a restaurant. So, needless to say, the box came in, busted up all the pieces with pieces and parts sticking out in every direction. I took pictures so I can, I'll post it on the net. You just won't believe what this looked like. And things were pretty beat up, so I got a real project on my hands here. Over to George, K4GDN, N4LQ.
And the old friends K4GDN. Well, pumping everybody real well this morning. Even good. The man seems to be in pretty good shape. We got quite a bit of rain in the last few days. I had some last night, and I expecting some more. Oh, let me check my tuning here. Trying to get right at 25 watts with the Hallicrafter's HT32B, and that's what we're running, 25 watts to the center fed dipole. Like I say, covering everybody fairly well. We've been working on a BC342, and I've always known that they were built by Farnsworth, but I didn't know anything about Farnsworth, and there was really a pretty good special on TV last night about the development of television, and it turns out that Farnsworth actually invented electronic television. Ended up was coerced into selling his patent rights to RCA, but he was the man that did it. And he built apparently all of the radios that are in that series with the BC342. They were designed by the Army but built by Farnsworth. Like I say, everybody's coming in here fairly well. It's in the 60s here this morning, I guess, upper 60s. It's supposed to warm up towards the 90s towards the end of the week. And we may still get some more rain, and we need it. We're in bad shape. There's still some smoldering over across the river in that fire they had in Carolina Forest, but it's pretty well under control now. So with that, we'll see. I pass it on to Buddy, WB4ARK in the group K4GDN.
K4GDN, WB4ARK, okay. Very good copy, George. And I've got a good copy on everybody this morning. The weather here is overcast. We had 1.42 inches overnight exactly, and so that goes with about the same thing we had a couple of days ago. So at any rate, we're staying up there with our rain total. We were in a pretty much of a bad drought situation, but we're recovering from that now. Today's my birthday, so we're going to be kicking back and taking it easy. Let's see what else we got. Well, working on a 32V2 with Butch Gibbons, trying to figure out where a short is in the multiplier section, and if you know anything about that, it's really packed. So we'll do what we can, and so we'll keep plugging at it until we find it. So with that, over to KZ4B, WB4ARK.
Okay, WB4ARK and the group KZ4B, fine business, buddy. I hope you are feeling better, you sound better. Shifting gears, I have a riddle. I am using 35-watt non-inductive surge resistors for my plate circuit parasitic suppressors. Very robust resistors, and I have two values to choose from. One are 23 ohm each, and the other are 100 ohm each. And the question is, this is like a riddle, which value will draw the most power with the resistor for maximum surge suppression? Will the 32 ohm, where you're shorting out the surge suppressor nichrome coil, or would the 100 ohm be better? With the 100 ohm, you're letting the voltage rise, which is E squared over R. With the lower value resistor, which is 23 ohms, that's I square R. And what causes, which value resistor will give me the most surge suppression? Hope you understand the question. So, with that note, on over to Cliff. By the way, there's light fluttering QS Baker this morning. I'm copying everybody, but it's very rapid flutter. WB4NKL in the group, KZ4B, over.
KZ4B, it's WB4NKL. Okay, John, wait, it's too early. You lost me on the question there. Thought you was talking about parasitic suppressors, and then you was talking about surge. I don't know. I won't answer that. Happy birthday to Buddy. Everybody's sounding good here. George's coming in good, so the band's in pretty good shape. Sorry about the Viking Mobile, Steve. Those are pretty rare, and to see another one destroyed, that kind of disheartening. But the USPS can do that pretty good job at that, seems like, especially if they're not packed good. There's a Johnson 500 on eBay down in Woodstock, Georgia, for bids up to $25, but it's pretty rough. Don't see no power supply modulator. Looks like somebody's maybe just used it for an amplifier. Pretty sad looking 500, but I guess if somebody needed parts, that might be a deal. Not too much else going on here. Got 61, and the rain hadn't really amounted to much, probably less than 1/4 of an inch altogether. Has been showering off and on, but just light showers here at this location. So send it on to Glenn. Good morning, Glenn. N4AK WB4NKL.
Okay, Cliff. And you're running 20 over 9 here this morning. Nice signals. And I understood George to say he's only running 25 watts. And I'm copying him 4x6. Solid copy. But some little QSB, but I'd say a 4x6. A little difficulty hearing him just a little bit. And temperature over here at sunset this morning is 63 degrees. Had rain overnight. We're supposed to go up to about 73. I hope so. And but it's mostly overcast here also early this morning. But more rain at 5 o'clock, they're claiming. Today is a special day. My grandson is 12 years old today, and he's scheduled to get some awards at his school. And Buddy is special. Buddy, I'm calculating that you may be, in fact, the senior member of this group. Congratulations. Lots of cake and ice cream today. And I know from experience suffering through repairing x-ray equipment, and retirement must be great. All right, so no answer for John. It's above my pay grade and too early in the morning. But I'm anxiously listening for the answer. AM radio was wide open this morning. I could copy the little 5,000 watt station down in Gainesville, Georgia, just clear as a bell. So, Stan, my neighbor, good morning to you, W4KR, N4AK.
Okay, Glenn, good morning to you. N4AK, this is W4KR. 64 here this morning. Partly cloudy out. I think we're going to get more rain, but wherever. Cliff, I'm where you are in John's question. John, why are you putting a parasitic suppressor where you are? Why are you putting a surge suppressor where the parasitic suppressor should go? If it's a parasitic successor with a coil around it, I probably around 100 ohms, 50, 100 ohms, somewhere in there. 2-watt resistor is plenty. You don't need much more than that. And if it's a surge resistor, it doesn't go there anyway. So, let's see what else. Buddy, happy birthday. And Buddy, you sound much better. Sounds like you're getting better. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Let's see. I started working on my on an HRO 60 that I acquired a couple years ago, but it's been sitting on a shelf. Started checking the tubes, and the rectifier checked okay, and then I started the 6-volt tubes, and nothing was checking good. I said, well, what's going on here? So I grabbed a brand new 6V6 and plugged that in my Kickock 533 charger tester, and that didn't show anything. Well, wait a minute. So what's going wrong here? Because it's all those tubes can't be absolutely zero. Well, it turns out the 4940 the GE for the 49 number 49 bulb, which is the bias fuse in the machine, went. And I don't have a 49 fuse. I'll have to come up with some, but one or two anyway. And if I go to eBay, it's got to buy 10. So we'll see. I got to look and see what the specs are for a 49. Let's see if a 47 will do. With that, Charlie, on frequency, Charlie, here it comes. W4MEC, W4KR.
That's a little low. W4KR. Stop that. And the group, W4MEC. All right, good morning, fellas. Yeah. I'm still about 160 low. I wonder if I can bump that up. 990. I'm not going to worry about that. Okay. 59 degrees here, overcast. It's still raining a little bit. Over the last 2 days, I got 4 inches of rain, so I just checked it this morning, so I emptied it. Happy birthday to Buddy. Didn't realize how he was that old, Glenn. He looks good for his age. So, let's see, what else? What'd you say? Number 49. I will check. I got a pretty good collection of bubs. And if I got some, I'll fire you some over there. My Hickok, the number 80 rectifier is the one that's always giving me trouble. And I've replaced about 3 of them over the years, and those are hard to find. So, I've never looked into putting it in solid state. I think the criticality of the whole thing is if you change it too much, it's going to change all the numbers when you tube test if the B+ changes. So I'm always concerned about that. So let's see. Yeah, you kind of confused everybody, John, when you said parasitic and then said surge. So that was kind of like a short circuit there. But number one, why are you using nichrome wire if it is a regular parasitic? Because resistor makes no difference. Nichrome would be acting as a resistor, whatever the length of versus the size of the wire. And there's been a lot of changes in the theory of the parasitic suppressor. You might want to get online and do some research about it. And I've seen some that are hairpins now, resistor with some hairpin and wire not wrapped around it. That seems to be fairly common. So I don't know what the theory is, but they don't always do it the way they always did, so I do a little more research. Well, the R390A receiving and transmitting on AR213, I guess you can hear, and seems to be working okay. Let's see, back to Dave, WA4LR, W4MEC.
Okay, Charlie, fine business, good signal this morning. Alrighty, do we have any other check-ins for the old friends? Come now. Alright, yes, we got everybody. Okay, let's see here. 4 inches of rain. Well, you're ahead of us. 2.65 in this most recent one, and the one before, we only had 7/10, I think. Stan, booming in up here into Yancey County, North Carolina today. And Glenn, so are you. And happy birthday to your grandson, 12 years, and a good deal on the awards he's getting today. Cliff, sounded like the rain pretty much followed the state line. Most of it stayed in North Carolina. That's interesting. You don't look your age. Hope you find that short without too much trouble. Hey, George, that's interesting information about Farnsworth. I've got a BC 342 sitting here that I use with the BC 610. I did not realize they were made by Farnsworth. Yeah, and I'd read about Farnsworth being the one that actually invented electronic television. Steve, sorry about the wonderful packing job for the Johnson Mobile and the sideband adapter. I have a horror story about that as well. I'd been looking, my ancestors were gunsmiths, and out in the Mills River area of western North Carolina, they had a forge and production set up back many years ago, and they produced Gillespie rifles, and I'd been trying to find one, and I finally found one out in Arizona, and I had the fella ship it to me. And when that thing came in, it came mail, U.S. mail, and when it came in, it looked like somebody drove a forklift over the box, and the stock was broken in two. Now, that took some work to break a curly maple stock in two, but it broke. You imagine about how happy that made me. But me and the Postal Service went round and round over that one. But they finally did a settlement, which was nowhere near it should have been. But anyway, yeah, they can do some damage. But the packing has a lot to do with it as well. Anyway, let's see here. Our space weather today. The sunspot count is 64. Solar flux index is 116, and the K is 1.67. A few items from this day in history. It's a little bit of a slow news day, but on this day in 1846, U.S. declared war on Mexico following the annexation of Texas. On this day in 2019, Stevie Wonder was born. On this day in 1941, Richie Valens was born. On this day in 1940, Winston Churchill faced the House of Commons for the first time as Prime Minister and told them, "I have nothing to offer but blood, toil, tears, and sweat." And on this day in 1917, 3 children reported seeing the Virgin Mary near Fatima, Portugal. And last but not least, on this day in 1637, according to French tradition, Cardinal Richelieu invented the table knife, and he reportedly had the tips rounded to stop dinner companions from using the knives to pick their teeth. Now you know why table knives have a rounded tip. N4LQ, WA4LLR.
Pick their teeth. Oh, WA4LLR, N4LQ. Well, I don't know. That's pretty far out. I heard somebody try to check in, Dave, right when you asked for check-ins last time, and it was on sideband, and it may have been just bleed over from our neighbors slightly below us, so I guess it probably doesn't matter. Anyway, the mailman gets here, so keep an eye out for those, and I just went ahead and had them shipped to you. So maybe that'll satisfy your, I don't know if you were talking about a shunt or a parasitic, I don't know why you'd wrap nichrome wire around a resistor for anything for that matter, unless you're just trying to find a good place to store nichrome wire. Let's see here. Well, the shipment that I got was not damaged due to anything USPS did. I can't blame them at all. This guy just took this thin, cheap, wore-out box and threw the two pieces in it, and that's it. And the box was naturally tore all to pieces, and the things just beat themselves to death all the way from, well, they came from Arizona to Dallas, Texas, and then to Gastonia, and then from Gastonia down to Columbia, South Carolina, and then back to Gastonia, and then to Charlotte, and then to Shelby. And they were a mess, and I just posted the pictures if you want to look at them on the email reflector, and it's hilarious. I mean, but the worst damage to the Viking Mobile was the crystal switch, which sticks out, and that got bent 45 degrees, and it busted the rotary switch and the sockets and everything for the crystals. That's kind of a weird setup anyway. It was surrounded by a meter frame. That's the way they did it. But about all I can do there is just put some else, I don't know, a piece of panel or something there and put a crystal socket in it and forget about it. I don't know. There's no way to replace it. It's just totally shattered, and it will not glue back together. Otherwise, I think the thing will probably be okay after I replace the capacitors. But of course, all the tubes were loose in their sockets, and the 807s were dangling, and that's quite a mess. On that Viking 500 Cliff that you mentioned, I saw that yesterday, and somebody, I guess, took the VFO out of it and put a QSL card over the hole. Well, when I saw that, I saw the QSL card, and it's N4IN, which is the call sign of a good friend of mine up near Louisville that, you know, we used to hang out together quite a bit. And so I sent him a link to look at that, and then I also sent it to N4OZI there in at the same location as the seller, because I thought maybe, you know, Woodstock, Georgia, he might know him, and I thought that was kind of neat, interesting coincidence. That QSL card on your HT32 sounding good. It's N4LQ.
Friends, K4GDN, and thanks for the reports. Yeah, the HC32 seems to be working pretty well. And buddy, congratulations on the birthday, and I hope you have some more. I had one last month. hit the 79 mark, so we'll see how things go from there. And everybody's coming in here pretty well. There is some QSB, as John mentioned, and it seems to be affecting Glenn and Charlie the most, but other than that, I'm copying everybody fairly well. And on the packaging, I've been very lucky. I've only had a few things shipped, but they were very important things. One of them was my HRO 521, and it came from the Midwest, and it was packed very well. Also, the Drake L4B linear, it was shipped, and it was packed very well. It came in 3 boxes. The guy packed the power supply and the final in separate boxes, and then the tubes and the chimneys in another box very well. And everything got here well. So far I've been pretty lucky with the shipping. Haven't had any real big problems with that. And I appreciate all the comments on the 32B. It's 25 watts seems to be doing pretty good. It seems to work pretty well with any antenna I put it in. I'm on my center fed dipole feeding it through a small Johnson matchbox. And the SX100 seems to be working pretty well too. So with that, I'm going to say 73 on this round, but I'm going to listen to the in case there's any comments I need to come back to. And John, on surge suppressors, I've used metal oxide resistors, and I've also used plain resistors with time delay relays in. My favorite for heavy current protection is the 25 ohm resistor and the time delay relays, and I usually use 25 watt resistors in both sides of the line, and that's generally on the a 240 volt line. So with that, let's see, goes to Buddy, WB4 ARK in the group, K4 GDN, 73 guys, and Dave Peterson calling it up.
K4 GDN, WB4 ARK. Okay, George, a good copy on your 25 watts from the 32B HT. Well, thanks everyone for the compliments on the birthday, and thanks Glenn for the extended compliments there. Yeah, let's see, the cold is getting better. I'm not, when I talk now, I'm not going into a coughing spell, so that's good. I'm glad that's over with. And there's QSB on Glenn's signal, and I think that's about it. So the packaging that I've encountered over the years, I got a roller inductor, came from Indonesia, and bought it on eBay, and it was packaged, I mean, it's a fairly large roller inductor. It must be about 8 inches long, 2 inches or so more in diameter, and it was just wrapped with a thick cardboard and sent that way, and it came in. I thought it was going to be damaged, but it wasn't. It was in very pristine condition. Came USPS, and but I got a Collins 310B, just a regular B, which I converted to a 310. Actually, yeah, I guess it's a 310B, which I converted, and so it came in, and it came from a widow that had, I guess she had someone pack it for her, and they didn't do a very good job, so the front glass was cracked, which I replaced, and one of the knobs was damaged, which I replaced. So that was the only unit that I got that came through the regular mail that was significantly damaged. So thank goodness for that. I had an ARR-15 that came in, and the handles were broken on it. The front handles were broken, which I replaced those. So that's been about it. I've been lucky over the years. But I'll tell you what, unless it's really packed quite well, like Fair Radio used to pack stuff, you're gonna have damage. They just throw stuff around. They don't take care of anything, and it's a bad scene when something like that comes in, and you've got significant damage to it because you're not going to collect very much at all. So with that, I guess that's about it. We're still overcast here. Sun hasn't peeked out yet, and I think it's going to be rainy today too. So with that, we're going to turn it over to John and see what the answer is to this riddle he has presented. Maybe that's the answer. It is a riddle, and this nichrome wire, which you can't solder to, is just part of this riddle. So over to you, John. KZ4B, WB4ARK.
Okay, WB4ARK and the group KZ4B, fine business, buddy. Happy birthday. Wish you many more. Forget surge suppression. If I said that, I threw you off. It's parasitic suppression that I'm after. And I came up with a nichrome wire because Measures, who's famous for his surge suppression kits, swears by using nichrome wire. And yeah, it's a bitch to solder to, so what I use are ring terminals and crimp it to the nichrome. And that way there's no soldering involved. But with the skin effect, the nichrome coils are quite lossy, and that's the whole idea. You've got RF forces it to the surface, the current to the surface of the conductor, and if it's a lousy conductor, it ends up being extremely low Q, and so that's the deal with nichrome. But the riddle is the shunt resistor that's going around the coil. Is it better to be a relatively low value like 23 ohms, or is it better to be a high value like around 100 ohms, which is the lossier situation, which maximizes the the parasitic suppression. I keep saying surge, and that has nothing to do with it. My bad, misspoke. Shifting gears, as far as problems with shipping, I have had some nightmares that I won't bore you with, but the post office owes me an incalculable amount due to generally lousy packing. So you have my sympathy there, and Steve, and thank you for ordering the shunt resistors for the plate circuit. I'll very much appreciate that. And maybe before it's all over, I can have that amplifier up and running. It's open heart surgery to get to the existing resistor, but you know, that's the way it is with electronics. It's up there with the SX100 as far as being hard to get to critical components. And shifting gears again, talking, Stan, I believe, talking about tube testers, I have had the worst luck with TV7s. I have bought a number of them, and I've never gotten one working like I wanted it to. But I've had extremely good luck with the Heathkit tube checker. It's not transconductance measurement, but it's just emissivity. But it's a great little tube checker, super reliable, super simple, and does 95% of all the tubes, maybe even higher, more like 99%. Great little checker. And I can't say enough good things about it. But my favorite tube checker is a drugstore tube checker because it's lightning quick. That's what I used when I was a kid. And I ended up with one, and that is a fantastic tube checker. I mean, you don't have to, there's a socket for every tube, so you just plug the tube in and it's transconductance. So the bad news is it takes up about an acre of space because of all the tube sockets. But that is the best tube checker on the planet, but it just eats up a lot of real estate. So I have rambled on enough. Over to you, Cliff. WB4NKL on the group KZ4B, over.
Yeah, KZ4B, WB4NKL. Okay, John, that cleared it up some when you got the surge out of it. That was what was throwing me. I think the purpose of the resistor is to lower the Q at VHF for that coil that you wind. So I would think with nichrome wire you wouldn't need a resistor. Like Charlie was saying, there's a lot of different theories out there, and parasitic suppressor circuits, but I would think a nichrome wouldn't really need the resistor. It's already lower Q. Not too much else here. Glenn, congratulations on the grandson's birthday and awards. That's a pretty good deal. So I'll send it on to you. N4AK WB4NKL.
Okay. WB4NKL N4AK. I hate to hear these horror stories because I got a friend who's not very aware of this Kenwood amp. Shipping it to me, but he is using a UPS store there in Maryland, and I see it's already made it to Virginia. So maybe the UPS store did a little bit better at packing it, and we insured it for a couple of $100, which that's about the cost of shipping it. Steve, it looks like you got a little bit of a thunder bumper over in Forest City. That may be where we get just a little bit of a crackle from, it looks like. And Doris Day, I can remember her TV show that she was sponsored by Chevrolet, and in my mind I can hear her singing right now, "See the USA in a Chevrolet." So there you go. Let's see. I'm going to pass along my 7.3s. Enjoyed it this morning. I got a dental appointment to run to, so I guess I better shave and do all those things. So Stan, over to you, and hope you find a bub there. I bet Charlie's got one. W4KR in the group N4AK.
Okay, Glenn, thank you. N4AK, W4KR. Just a second. I needed to take a sip of coffee because I was munching on a morning munchie that Joan had brought down. And I had a mouthful of it. You started to turn it over to me, Glenn. Charlie, yeah, thanks. Yeah, if you have a couple of 29s, great. Thank you very much. John. You said two words that got my attention. And those two words were Rick Mears. I strongly suggest, or practically demand, John, that you grab your computer and punch up W8JI, that's Tom Roush down in Barnesville, Georgia, W8JI.com. Tom is an excellent engineer. Did a lot of design work for MFJ in their amplifiers. He has quite a bit to say about that stuff that Rick Mears sells. In installing that stuff, he suggests the best tool you need is a pair of diagonal pliers, so you can cut all that stuff up because it doesn't really work anyway. Anyway, I won't go any deeper into that one. Shipping. Oh gosh, must have been 10, 15 years ago now. I bought a 75A4 from a chap down out in Arizona. Arizona seems to be the place. Anyway, it was a 75A4. It arrived. It arrived in reasonable fashion. Came UPS. And what he had done was found a box that was just slightly larger than the 75A4. And he put it in the box with no packing, no nothing. It arrived. I opened the box, and the top cover was caved in the middle, right down to the right down to the guts of the receiver. And I said to myself, "Oh happiness, oh joy, what do I do now?" Well, talk to UPS, and he had insured it, and it took about 3 months, but I finally got my money back, and I shipped the receiver back to him, and swore that I would never do something like that again. If I sell anything that's of any significant value, the only way I will ship it is FedEx second-day air. That's the sweet spot in the shipping world. The second-day air stuff gets the same treatment that overnight air stuff does, except it takes an extra day to get there. But that's all. Stuff is taken care of, and it has if it's something of real value, it goes in a special part of the truck that's caged in and safe. So, in the for what it's worth column, is it cheap? No, it's not. But if it's a good item, especially this old stuff, it's worth it. Charlie, Steve, I looked at the Viking 500 on eBay, the $25 wonder. And as I was flipping through the pictures on the side, I thought, well, at least there's a cabinet. I don't know what's salvageable in that thing. The only thing I saw that was salvageable were a couple of coax connectors on the back. If you look at the picture of the back of it, they didn't have a male Jones plug in there, and I don't know where the the 3 high voltage cables plug in. But that thing is a piece of work. I thought initially, well, yeah, there's a cabinet. Then I looked at the one side of the cabinet. It's got about a 3-inch diameter hole punched in it. Anyway, Charlie, here it comes, and good morning, everybody. Well, Lord willing, we'll see you all. We'll not be here Thursday. Thursday is our ophthalmologist is going to swap lenses in one of my eyes Thursday morning. W4MEC, W4KR.
Oops. Okay. Turn this down. Quick question, Stan. The second time around, you said 29 tube. The first time you said 49. Which one is it?
You got me in the John mode here. It's a 49. If I said 29, shame on me. It's 49. Charlie, go ahead.
Okay, I want to be sure in case you got out of here, because I've got an inventory that says I do have some, so I just have to make like the Buana of the jungle to chop my way down to where the box is. So let's see, W4KR, W4MEC, got to do that. And John, KZ4B, I want to reiterate what Stan said, W8JI.com. You know, don't do anything. Go to his website and read the information. So he knows what he's doing. And he makes several other things like step start and the keying kit to lower the voltage on like a SB200 for the keying, and some other stuff that he manufactures. And I got the what did I get from him on Tom's 10-tech amplifier? I got the upgraded. I can't remember what the circuit was now, to be honest with you. But anyway, they had changed how they did something in later versions of that amplifier, and he was remanufacturing those kits to upgrade that. So yes, go to W8JI.com and learn about parasitic suppression. Let's see. Destroyed boxes. I never really had any destroyed by the Postal Service, FedEx and UPS, and it's always been packing issues, nothing else. And when you used to go to UPS and FedEx and you filled out the paperwork on what you were sending and what it was, blah, 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 it said right there in the fine print above where you put your name on it, it said new boxes, a minimum of 4-inch materials around all 6 sides and double boxed. So whatever you were shipping went in a box, and then you put 4 inches minimum on the bottom, and then you laid that thing in there and then put 4 inches all the way around the other 5 sides. So. And technically, if they look at something like that, they could say, sorry, and not pay you a dime. I ran into that situation with a Palstar balance tuner I sold to a guy in Kentucky, and it arrived damaged. And I had sent it in all the original Palstar boxes and Cocoon. But what I did was take pictures of everything in the packing process, and that's the only thing that saved my cheese there. And I got all back but half of the shipping. So it cost me $30 to send that, or I lose $30 in the deal. So, and the good thing about going to a UPS or a pack and ship store and let them do the work is they become the one that's responsible. So, Glenn, if that amp gets damaged in shipment, the UPS store usually will pay you the damage, the insurance right off the top, and then they negotiate with UPS for their reimbursement. So that's the one plus of using that, is you don't have to argue with UPS. You have to argue with the pack and shipper who's usually wants to protect his reputation, so he'll pay up quickly. So Doris Day, yes, and Meg Ryan. You know, Meg Ryan is kind of like a modern Doris Day, but she doesn't sing. But they did a survey a bunch of years ago about men, like boyfriends and husbands against girlfriend and wife, talking about actresses that the husband or boyfriend might really be hot for. And Meg Ryan was decided by everybody that she was the least offensive actress to any of the girlfriend wives, because everybody liked her. So I thought that was funny when I read that. So let's see. Glenn, I hope you know that TL922 has high voltage keying on the circuit like the SB220. I think it's minus 110. So don't go plugging that into anything other than a Kenwood transceiver, because, you know, Kenwood still today gives you a relay output for external keying along with a solid state. So that's about the only rig you can you can plug that amp into and not blow up the rig. So, and what is it with the Johnson 500 high voltage connector? That beautiful piece of gear, and they put mini banana jacks on the back of the thing, and I never understood that shortcut there, and why they didn't do something else. So anyway, all right, I covered all my notes. So let's get back. WA4LLR, W4MEC.
All right, Charlie. W4MEC, WA4LLR. Okay. Yeah, I use a foot switch with my TL922. I don't try to connect it to keying in any of the rigs. And Stan, pray that the ophthalmologist appointment Thursday goes well. Glenn, if you're listening, I remember that well. Doris Day singing "See the USA" in your Chevrolet, and I think the next line was, "America is inviting you to call." I always enjoyed her. Let's see. John, your drugstore tube checker. That's cool. I remember those things. Don't have one. Don't know anybody that does except you. But they were neat for sure. Just about 9 o'clock straight up. We can still do a quick 73 round if you like. So, N4LQ, WA4LLR.
Oh, okay. N4LQ. Let's see. I just got an email from N4IN, the present holder of the call sign that that QSL card on the Viking 500 is taped to. But he said that the owner of that 500 was an ardent 160 meter fan. He spent all his time on 160, was a contester and all that. So maybe there's something inside there. I didn't see anything salvageable, anything worth trying to recover out of that thing. But it does have the long bolts that go through the case, and maybe those are worth something, and the 2 meters on the front. Anyway, 73s, everybody have a great day, and see you again on Thursday morning. Let's see, who is left? George is gone. Buddy, WB4ARK, N4LQ.
WB4ARK, N4LQ. WB4ARK. Now we get it. Well, I don't have anything else to say, so we'll turn it over to John, see what he's got for a final, and I hope Cliff has a good time at Xenia, which will be coming up on Thursday. I don't know if you're going to be there on Thursday or not, but I guess you'll be there Friday and Saturday. So good luck, good hunting, and hope you find something for me maybe. So we'll listen out on the cell phone and the home phone, see if you've got anything to talk about. So KZ4B. Oh, and thanks Dave for calling the net on this auspicious day of birthdays. Glenn's I think he said nephew was 12 today, and that's a good day. So with that, over to John. KZ4B, WB4ARK.
Okay, WB4ARK in the group, KZ4B. Fine business, buddy. And you get well quick. Thanks for calling the net, Charlie. We're heading out for Xenia early tomorrow morning, and looking forward to seeing Cliff there and anybody else that shows up. It's a long way to go, but it's definitely worth it based on past experience. Xenia's one heck of a good ham fest. And so 73s all around. Hope everybody has a great week. Happy hunting if you're going to Xenia. And I will check the internet for W8JI's wisdom on the parasitic suppressor. Maybe it will answer my question. So 73s, and Cliff, I guess you're still there. If not, whoever, straighten it out. WB4NKL on the group, KZ4, be clear about listening.
Okay, buddy. WB4NKL. I enjoyed it today, and we're heading out Thursday morning early. Get up there a little after lunchtime at the Ham Fest. And I've been attending since 1976, and haven't missed any except for the COVID year. So I don't know any different. It's the middle of May. Pack up and go to Dayton or Xenia. So yeah, looking forward to seeing you, John, buddy. I'll keep an eye out for what you're looking for, and hopefully we'll find one. 73s, thanks for calling it, Dave, and we'll catch everybody. You won't be here Thursday morning, so it'll be Sunday. Maybe I'll have a Xenia report by then. Go ahead, Glenn, N4AK, WB4NKL.
I think Glenn signed. Stan, are you still there?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Okay. WB4NKL. And group W4KR. Cliff. There's something I forgot to mention earlier. I'm looking for the little green light, not light, but the little bubble that Johnson used on the Ranger 2 and the what else? On the the transmitter between the Ranger and the 500. There are two of them on the VFO dial. What it should have been was a green one and a red one, but what they put on the 500 was two red ones, and the one on the right side is the high voltage indicator, and the one on the left side doesn't have anything behind it. That should have been a green one, but they didn't use a green one, and that's what I'm looking for. There are three up there. I think the total width of that thing is about 3/8 of an inch, including the slight little metal housing for it, the little bubble gadget. That's what I'm looking for. If such a thing should be sitting on a counter by itself, if I tell you what, Cliff, if somebody has a Ranger 2 that's really beat the crap, and parts only, and the price is 2 digits, why, pick it up. Anyway, with that, good morning, everybody. And I still can't get over that 500. Charlie, with regard to why Johnson used those things, that is the world's mystery. Question is, what would you put in there in place of it? Because 2 of those 3 do handle 2,000 volts. In fact, one of them handles modulated 2,000 volts. So it's more than that. What else would you use? You could possibly use a high voltage BNC if you could find one. But the other problem is that there's not very much vacant real estate on the back of the 500. So I have a hunch that may have been that may have been their logic more than anything else. Better than price. You can't, you know, 3 million high voltage connectors would be great, but you can't. There's not room for them. So I don't know what you use. I agree with you. They're hokey, but I don't know what you'd use in place of. With that, Charlie, to you. Take care, and Lord willing, we'll see everybody Sunday afternoon. W4MEC, W4KR.
Okay, Stan. Oh man, I drifted down to quite a bit. 300. Yeah. Hold on. Part 13's hot now. It's within 100. All right, we'll live with this. W4KR, W4MEC. Okay. Well, you know, have you ever looked up the voltage rating of a banana plug? It's only like 500 volts. So, anyways, I guess like you say, last resort. But you know, Johnson made a lot of stuff. You would have think they would have made a custom high voltage connection, maybe 3 pins. A tractor socket instead of an octal that would plug them in or something. And my final comment was about, I forgot to make it about shipping something. I bought a Heathkit Warrior amp from AF4K many years ago, the original AF4K, and he shipped it in a triple corrugated cardboard box. But I still have the box because it's so impressive. I figure one of these days I'll use it to ship something. But that was an absolute perfect fit. I think Stan mentioned something about someone just dropping one in a box. It was an absolute perfect fit for that Warrior. That's all it was. The Warrior in a triple corrugated box, and they shipped it UPS. It arrived here in absolutely perfect shape. Nothing was broken. It worked right out of the box. So that was just had to be pure luck, I guess. Alrighty, we'll see you fellas on Thursday morning. Good to hear you this morning. 7-3 all. WA4LLR, W4MEC.
All right, fine business. Well, you know, there's a lot of questions I have about why people did certain things. I've always wondered why in the world Collins had that RCA type connection on the back of a KWM2 for your RF. But I'm going to assume Art had a reason. Enjoyed it this morning, fellas. Hope you have a great week. Look for you on Thursday, Lord willing. 7-3. God bless. WA4LLR, Burnsville, North Carolina, closing this session of the